PNC announcing a strategic partnership with Coinbase this hour, expanding access to digital assets for their banking clients and their institutional investors, providing some banking services for Coinbase. Our Leslie Picker brought us that news earlier this morning and joins us now alongside PNC CEO. Morning, Leslie.
Hi, good morning, Carl, and thank you, Bill Demchak, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
On the heels of this news, and we're here in Washington, of course, I'm just curious. You mentioned in the release that you have plans to develop an initial offering allowing clients to buy, hold, and sell crypto. What does that look like exactly? Is this a stable coin? Is this a deposit token? Any more color you can share?
Yeah, so think of the business we're in. We help people save, spend, invest, borrow, move money. In crypto, stable coin, in theory, is going to be a payment rail, and our clients are going to want to use it, and our job is to empower our clients to move money. How they do it, and then, whether it's pure retail, whether it's wealth, whether it's our corporate clients on international payments, remains to be seen, but it's our job to empower them. We don't want to lose that stream of their payment flow, so we put that in our toolkit and let our clients use it if they want.
How much of this was driven by last week's events with Crypto Week and some more regulations surrounding this space, or?
We actually went down the path with Coinbase several years ago to do something similar, and we're enabling digital payments through Coinbase on our systems, and we're also using our bank capabilities for fiat, our treasury management services, for them. So we're doing two things at once. But we looked at this a bunch of years ago, and then we kind of had the crypto winter, and we had prohibitions from regulators to, even spell crypto, and everything went on hold. And now we've got the Genius Act through, and there's progress, and the regulators, OCC and so forth, have dropped their restrictions on our ability to work with crypto, so off we go.
So do you think this is something that's going to be done unilaterally? PNC has their own kind of stablecoin situation. Your peers have their own, or is it a consortium thing that is required for more uptake?
Two different questions. So Coinbase is our backbone. On that backbone, if there is an industry-led stablecoin, it could be traded in that wallet, or any of the other ones. So we're not making a decision. We're not going to produce a stable coin per se, certainly not in our own name. But we'll be a wallet, a provider for any coin that any of our clients want to use.
It's all such a fascinating space. Yeah. And just to share with our viewers kind of why you're in D.C. today. There's the Fed's Capital Conference, yep. and you've been attending that. What would you like to see come out of this broad-based recalibration of capital, of oversight, and what does it mean for you strategically as you seek to position PNC?
Well, first of all, I'm grateful for Mickey Governor Bowman to host this thing. It's long overdue that we had a whole bunch of different voices in one room to kind of talk about what's working and what isn't. Most of today's conversation is around capital requirements and where they make sense and where they don't. You've seen the discussions on leverage ratio. That was the first panel. They'll get into Basel III and some other things. Personally, I'm most interested in the actual process of supervision. There's a lot of form over substance in the supervisory work sets, leading to Silicon Valley and First Republic, where we had all the capital rules. We just didn't have supervisors who were focused on the real risks. And so I'm hoping we make progress on that.
Yeah, it's amazing. 2/3 of banks received unsatisfactory ratings, yet Silicon Valley Bank was one that actually did get a satisfactory rating. I believe there is a question for you in the studio.
Okay.
Yes, there is. Bill, it's David Faber. It's funny, speaking of Silicon Valley and Republic takes me back a couple of years. I mean, if we had you then in the summer of 2023, every question probably would have been about commercial real estate, growing office vacancies, defaults. I would love just to get an update. Obviously, it is nowhere near the concern it once was. But where are we on that process in terms of maturities and extensions and ultimately sales at reduced prices in terms of resetting values there and the reserves that you have on hand? Just give us an update.
So from 2 years ago to today, we've probably seen our reserve ratio go from, I don't know what it was back then, 5 or 6% to 13% of our outstanding real estate loans today. Importantly, the thing that has changed is there was much more price certainty, albeit at low prices. So we've gone through a period where there's kind of a market developing for these properties that are distressed, which gives us a lot of comfort in how we set our reserves and our ability to work through our book.
So
That's
is the
interesting.
crisis averted, so to speak, at this point fully? Should it still be a concern in some way? And, again, that the group of buildings that are ultimately need to do something in terms of conversion or having new capital come in that can actually revitalize them, is that there?
At this point, I feel comfortable saying that the banking system is well reserved and well capitalized against this. Now, that doesn't mean that the offices are coming back. It simply means that in the process of working out loans and selling them, the banks will be rid of them. What happens to them? Without question, we have millions and millions and millions of excess square footage in office buildings, and that's going to need to be solved for.
Well, we really appreciate you being here, Bill. Thank you so much, PNC CEO Bill Demchak. I'll send it back to you all in the studio.